Good evening, friends. It's now time for us to go into a preview about our lesson for tomorrow. And as we can see here, it says learning about Native Americans. Now, before we start, there's a question I want us to think about. What do you think about when you hear Native Americans? Take a second to turn to those around you and to talk about it. What comes to mind when you hear the words Native Americans? I'm sure some of us came up with Thanksgiving, which is a national holiday that a lot of us prepare for. It's where we have a big feast with a turkey in the middle, and everyone has a lot of food to eat, and we're very grateful for what we have. The history behind it is when the Native Americans helped the Pilgrims survive a very harsh winter and taught them how to plant food, farm, and how to live with their surroundings. And I'm sure lots of you have made very beautiful turkeys, such as the one I have here. With that in mind, maybe some of you have heard Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark are two men who were traveling to the west coast of the United States, and Sacagawea was a Native American woman who was helping them cross the terrain since they were not familiar with the area. So, before we start diving more into the Native American lesson, there are a few questions I want you all to think about. What countries did your parents come from? What holidays do you celebrate? What traditions do you do? Any special foods eaten and clothes worn for certain occasions? These will be important questions later on in the PowerPoint that I need you to all think about. Now, Native Americans are people who lived in the U.S. before Christopher Columbus. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. But we know that people lived in the United States before 1492. And so we are going to study those people and investigate and research about them and who they are and what they did. This brings in to the region of the United States. I want us to practice our geography skills first before we start going into Native American history. So here's a map of the United States. The west coast is on the left side. You see where California is. The east coast is on the right side. We can see where North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York. The north is the top part, where North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota are. And the south is where Texas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Mississippi is. And so the reason why I need you all to focus on this is going to be about our next map. But first, I want you all to find some of these states. We need to look for Ohio, Texas, Delaware, New York, California, Maine, and Pennsylvania. California should be an easy one since this is our state. Have we all found it? All right. Now, remember, this is a map of the United States. The map I'm going to show you will be showing the tribes of the United States. The Native Americans of the United States. Excuse me. So, where do Native Americans live? Ooh, I'm blocking that. I'm so sorry. My question at the bottom says, where do Native Americans live? Here I have a map of not the United States of America, but the tribes of the United States. Here are the Native American tribes. We can see that before the United States became a country, it was Native Americans who were living there before. They were the ones who inhabited the entire North American continent. We can see to the west, the left side, are the Chumash. To the south, the bottom, the Apache. The Sioux to the north, the top. And Powhatan, Creek, Seminole to the east. And I need us to find some of these tribes: the Chumash, Navajo, Sioux, Pequot, and Creek. Everybody found them? Now, because we live in the state of California, I want us to focus on the tribes who live there. So here I have a map of the Native American tribes. A lot, right? It's one state broken up into more tribes. And these are the tribes I need you to look for: Hoopa, Kumeyaay, Mojave, Chumash, and Yurok. Might be a little hard, but I believe in all of you. Now that we've practiced our geography skills and we've found all our tribes, I want us to go back to the questions that I had asked. Where countries did your parents come from? What holidays do you celebrate? What traditions do you do? Special foods eaten and clothes worn for special occasions? And so, why are we going to be researching about the Native Americans? Because these are the people who came here first to the north. These are the people who lived here first and inhabited North America before the Europeans came here. These are the people who treated the land without any modernization, such as technology, any boats, any ships, any machinery. And so, it would be great for us to learn about these people. The Native Americans, excuse me. And so, there are a few tribes we're going to be studying: the Hoopa, the Chumash, the Kumeyaay, the Yurok, and the Mojave. These are the tribes that we are going to be investigating, researching, knowing well enough who these tribes are. We are going to figure out who they are as a tribe and what they brought to California. And of course, what is it that you want to know about a person? Such as, oh, what ethnicity are you? Such as, what country did your parents come from? What holidays do you celebrate? Any special food or clothes that are for certain occasions? And so, when it comes to us researching, these are some of the things we're going to talk about: the climate, food and diet, type of home, weapons and tools that were built, customs and beliefs. Customs and beliefs can be such as religion. There are more, such as location, which is why I had us look at the United States map, where it has the states and then it has the Native American tribes, and then we looked at California. And then we're going to talk about resources. Resources are important because their location is what provides their resources. And clothing, we're talking about what makes each tribe different. Transportation, did they use a horse? Did they walk? Did they swim? Maybe people able to swim. Arts and crafts, we're going to see what kind of expression did they use to show that they are a Hoopa, or from the Kumeyaay, or the Mojave. The point of this is for us as learners to realize that there are different tribes out there who came before us, and we are to be researchers of these tribes. So, I wanted to do an example of what we're going to be looking at for tomorrow. Which tribe lives in which house? We have this one and this one. They're both different, could be the same material, but one's extremely larger. And this is what we're going to learn about when we do our research. Can you believe that each tribe has their own kind of house and they have their own kind of clothes? They had specific foods they would eat. They have ritual dances that would help them either heal or provide safety. And so we are going to be researchers of Native American tribes and make sure that when we are done with our research, we are able to create a project and do a report or a poster, and then we will be able to present it to each other and learn about the Native American tribes in California. So keep in mind of those 5 tribes that I talked about, and then some of the topics we will be going into as we do research for Native Americans. So have fun with it. Make sure to know those 5 tribes again: the Chumash, the Yurok, the Mojave, the Kumeyaay, and the Hupa. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night.